And our lead story this evening, well, Prime Minister Modi, while paying a tribute to soldiers who died in the 1999 Kargil war, said that Pakistan has learned nothing from history. And in an all-out attack at Pakistan, the Prime Minister said that its terror designs will never succeed. He also, in a stern warning to Pakistan, said that Pakistan, in the garb of proxy war, tries to stay relevant, but of course the focus very much was on the brave hearts of the Kargil war, how India's armed forces turned the tide in 1999 with the capture of the Tiger Hill, a critical moment in the war. Take a look.
Prime Minister Modi laying a wreath at the Kargil War Memorial in Dras, minutes before hitting out at the opposition, who he said were politicizing Agnipath, the 4-year tour of duty for young recruits who joined the armed forces in non-officer ranks.
इतने संवेदनशील विषय को कुछ लोगों ने राजनीति का विषय बना दिया है। कुछ लोग सेना के इस रिफॉर्म पर भी अपने व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ में झूठ की राजनीति कर रहे हैं। ये वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने सेनाओं में हजारों करोड़ के घोटाले करके हमारी सेनाओं को कमजोर किया।
And the Agniveer scheme neither trains.
The Congress says Agnipath denies soldiers a full pension and produces inadequately trained soldiers.
Agniveer scheme should be scrapped. Modern warfare requires fully trained professional soldiers, full-time soldiers, not part-time soldiers. And the Agniveer scheme neither trains nor does it give a full-time permanent commission. And that's not the need of the Indian Army. The Indian Army needs fully trained, completely fully equipped to deal with technological warfare, which is how the trend is going to be going forward.
On the 25th anniversary of the Kargil victory, there was also a firm message for Pakistan.
पाकिस्तान ने अपने इतिहास से कुछ नहीं सीखा है। वो आतंकवाद के सहारे, प्रॉक्सी वॉर के सहारे अपने आप को प्रासंगिक बनाए रखने का प्रयास कर रहा है। आतंक के आकाओं को मेरी आवाज सीधे सुनाई पड़ रही है। मैं आतंकवाद के इन सरपरस्तों को कहना चाहता हूं कि उनके नापाक मंसूबे कभी कामयाब नहीं होंगे।
At the solemn ceremony in Dras, the Prime Minister visited a museum honoring our Kargil bravehearts, besides meeting the next of kin of soldiers killed in action. 543 officers and men were killed during the Kargil War. The war in 1999 was unprecedented given that it was fought at altitudes up to 20,000 feet. 4 soldiers won the Paramveer Chakra, the highest wartime gallantry award, and 10 were honored with the Mahavir Chakra, the second highest gallantry award. On the 25th anniversary of the Kargil war, the Prime Minister used the occasion to also hit out at the opposition over the Agnipath scheme, which has been criticized by the opposition, saying that India's armed forces were getting younger and that he could never understand the mindset of the opposition who play politics over national security. He also had a very direct statement for Pakistan. When it comes to terrorism, his message was direct: we will continue to fight it no matter what the cost. In Dras, with camera person Ahmed Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
So Vishnu there reporting from Dras as he did 25 years ago. But moving now to the other big headline, a big exclusive with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. She clarified various concerns around the union budget, including the fact that states cannot be given funds based on just population. She said that states must consult the Finance Commission if they have concerns about the funds allocated. Take a look.
Southern states must be part of the developmental journey and help other states to grow, but southern states should not have any reason to complain that we are being penalized for being prosperous or developing better.
मैं उसको स्लाइटली अलग तरीके से बोलना चाह रही हूँ। साउथ में जिस तरीके से कुछ एरियाज में अच्छा सा प्रोग्रेस हुआ है, उसके कारण उनको आज जो फाइनेंस कमीशन के फॉर्मुलेशन के कारण लगता है कि उनको जितना मिलना चाहिए उतना नहीं मिल रही है, उनके और इस समय उनके सरकार जो भी जिस पार्टी का भी क्यों ना हो, वो फाइनेंस कमीशन से ऐसे इफेक्टिवली बात करना चाहिए कि हमें आगे जाने के लिए हमारे अचीवमेंट्स को भी मापदंड से मेजर करिए और हमारे चैलेंजेस को, क्योंकि हमने इधर अचीव कर दिया, उधर जो चैलेंज रह गए उनको दरकिनारे ना करना, उसका हम मीट करने के लिए जो भी असिस्टेंस देना है वो दे दीजिए। सिमिलरली इधर सिर्फ आबादी के बेसिस में पैसा दे दो और उन स्टेट्स में बोल दो कि आपके आबादी के कारण आपको ये ग्रांट मिल रहा है, उस रास्ते से बेहतर है कि उनका डेवलपमेंटल कमियां को भी आप मापदंड करो और डेवलपमेंटल इंडिकेटर्स को मापदंड उपयोग करने के समय सिर्फ ब्रिजेस है, रोड्स है, वो सिर्फ नहीं है, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट का भी इंडेक्स देखना चाहिए, कितने इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ हेल्थ, इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ एजुकेशन उधर है, अगर नहीं है उसको बिल्डअप करने के लिए कितना देना।
इनकम टैक्स रेट किधर जाए, क्या डायरेक्शन रहे, इस पे आपने लगातार अच्छे से सिग्नल दिए हैं, लेकिन अब एक चीज़ का और इंतज़ार है कि ये पूरा रिजीम अच्छा हो, उसके लिए आपने एक कमेटी भी बनाई है, तो उसका क्या मैंडेट, क्या अप्रोच होगा, कैसी कमेटी होगी, कब तक रिपोर्ट आएगी?
6 महीने के अंदर स्पीच में भी मैं कह चुकी हूँ 6 महीने के अंदर आना है। डिटेल्स ऑफ द मैंडेट अभी तैयार नहीं है, मगर ब्रॉडली सिंप्लीफिकेशन की ओर और इनकम टैक्स कंप्लायंस और एसएससी का राहत, उससे कंप्लायंस और ड्यू डिलिजेंस का कैसे ले आए, और ऑलरेडी पिछले 3-4 साल से डायरेक्ट टैक्स, पर्सनल इनकम टैक्स के लिए सेकेंड रजीम हमने लिया है, उसमें सिंप्लीफिकेशन, नो एग्जेम्पशन से सब करते हुए उसमें अभी बहुत सारे लोग ओल्ड सिस्टम से इसमें आ रहे हैं। सो वी नीड टू हैव अ कंसिस्टेंट, सिंपल, इजी टू कंप्लाई सिस्टम। वो है लार्जर मैसेज फॉर द कमिटी। स्पेसिफिक्स विल बी डिसाइडेड अ बिट लेटर।
ये एज्यूम करना सेफ होगा कि ये कमेटी गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स के अलावा लॉयर्स, सीएज, स्टेक होल्डर्स भी रहेगी कमेटी में?
उनसे जरूर इनपुट लेंगे, मगर उनमें से एक को कमेटी में बिठा कर लेंगे या उनसे संपर्क करके लेंगे, ये सब अभी डिसाइड करना बाकी है।
And looking at some other news now, the charge sheet has been filed in the Pune Porsche case. Remember, a speeding Porsche had killed 2 techies back in May, and now the charge sheet has been filed. The accused teen's parents have been named in this charge sheet. Remember, it was an absolutely horrific case, and the accused teen initially was given bail within hours, and there was a lot of outrage over that. Now, this charge sheet details all aspects of this absolutely horrific case. My colleague Radhika is now joining us live on the phone line. So Radhika, break it down for us. The accused teen has not been named in this particular charge sheet. Will another charge sheet now be filed before the Juvenile Justice Court?
You know, as far as the role of the accused is concerned, since he's a minor, a police report has already been filed before Juvenile Justice Board a few weeks back. So that is in a sense equivalent to charge sheet. Since this is a minor accused, there will not be a charge sheet filed in connection to the case as far as the minor is concerned. Of course, this is a charge sheet that has been filed against all the adults in this case. Pune police filing a 900-page charge sheet in connection to the Pune Porsche accident case, and has named 7 people, as I mentioned. This include 2 parents, 2 doctors, Sassoon doctors, employee, and 2 middlemen. Now, minor, of course, is not been named as accused in this charge sheet as he is child and conflict, and a police report has been filed before Juvenile Justice Board against minor. Now, this charge sheet is with respect to the alleged role of the adults in the case. We know for a fact that police had arrested minor's father, mother, besides 3 hospital employees, including doctors, as well as an alleged middleman. All 7, of course, lodged in the jail. So this is related to alleged swapping of blood samples. The parents had allegedly tried to swap the minor's blood samples with that of his mother's to allegedly established that he was not under the influence of alcohol. So doctors were allegedly paid a bribe to do this. So the charge sheet, in a sense, showing how these people, including parents of the minor, had used money and influence to forge, evidence in this case to protect the minor. So this is what the charge sheet largely is on. And as you mentioned, yes, the team was granted bail by a court. In fact, initially was granted bail by Juvenile Justice Board, then leading to approach, after which he was kept in detention in observation home. Later, Bombay High Court directing his release, saying combination of the minor accused in this case is illegal. So he is, of course, out on bail as he's minor. Other people, adults, in custody, and this charge sheet is with respect to all these 7 people, including his parents.
All right, Radhika, thanks very much for joining us with the latest there. This was a case that had really shocked the country. But moving now to what's our special focus on NDTV. Justice for this girl that was brutally murdered by a man, as you can see in that CCTV footage, and there has been no justice so far. The murderer currently is at large. Remember, it was a 24-year-old girl who was killed inside her hostel in Bengaluru by a man who slipped into the building late night, as per the police. And it's been 3 days and no justice for the family of the victim there. What is exactly the cause of the incident, the murder? Nothing is known. And remember, this raises serious questions and concerns about the security and law and order as far as Bengaluru is concerned. Listen to what the police had to say.
As regards the murder of a girl in a PG accommodation in the limits of Koramangala police station, the case has been taken up and the investigation is going on in full swing. We have made 3 teams to apprehend the culprit. The police teams are working on it, and very shortly the accused will be apprehended.
And Pratibha Raman is now joining us live on the phone line. So Pratibha, absolutely shocking there, and a vague statement from the police. The family awaits justice. What more details do you have about this case?
The incident seems to have occurred, and this has definitely captured the brutal incident, and that is one main evidence that the police is examining tight with respect to capturing the victim, with respect to capturing the accused there. But also with respect to the investigation, 3 teams have been formed by the Commissioner of Police who are on the manhunt for this accused. The case has been taken up and the investigation is on in full swing, but then the incident seems to have happened on Tuesday and the police have still not managed to nab the accused. All eyes are on the kind of safety that women will have in any kind of situation in Bengaluru, the crime rates with respect to Bengaluru. All of these questions have definitely risen with respect to this particular incident that happened on Tuesday. We also know that it was a 24-year-old woman who was killed inside her hostel. The CCTV footage captures the man slipping into the hostel, opening the door, and the woman fights him off but still succumbs to the entire outrage, violence of this man. And we still have to wait to see whether the police would be successful in its hunt with respect to the accused.
And moving now to the other big headline, well, the Prime Minister will be chairing the 9th Niti Aayog meeting on Saturday, of course, to discuss the Viksit Bharat roadmap. But the focus very much is on who will attend and who will skip. Because remember, the DMK and the Congress have said that they will not be attending this crucial meet, given the fact that they say opposition-ruled states have been ignored in the union budget. But Mamata Banerjee, interestingly, will be attending that crucial meet. She says that she will raise the concerns of the opposition and that she will be attending the meeting on behalf of all the opposition-ruled states. Vasudha Venugopal with the latest.
West Bengal Chief Minister and TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee has already arrived in Delhi and she will be attending the Niti Aayog's General Council meeting tomorrow. And remember that this is an important meeting because this is probably one of the few platforms in which chief ministers across the country get to meet not just the Prime Minister but also several union ministers. This, apart from the Conference of Chief Secretaries that also happens once a year, this is, of course, handled by Niti Aayog, which is the most important think tank of the country, the policy think tank of the country. But of course, this meeting is important for states because this is a platform in which states also get to put forward their requests, the problems that they face in implementation of central schemes. They also get to give their feedback, which is why it is seen as important for states to make their presence felt, which is why while politics is playing out and we see so many opposition allies boycotting this meet, Mamata Banerjee has said today that she took a different call and she decided to attend this meeting because it was in the interest of her state. She however said that Niti Aayog needs to be scrapped and Planning Commission needs to be brought back. Remember, Planning Commission was in place till 2014. 2014 is when we saw Niti Aayog being put in place by the Narendra Modi government. She also said that the only thing that Niti Aayog is doing is just convening meetings, and she didn't want to come for this meeting, but Abhishek Banerjee, the General Secretary of the party, and also her nephew made her change her mind. But of course, tomorrow is going to be important because all chief ministers have already arrived in Delhi, and all of them are going to basically speak. The Prime Minister himself will be addressing this meeting. Ex-officio members will be there. Several ministers, especially the ones who handle economy sector and also social sector, they'll also be there. And this meeting in some ways will also be important in setting, setting the plan for the future. The Prime Minister in the last few Niti Aayog General Council meetings has talked about the importance of Viksit Bharat, Amrit Kal, the need to maintain fiscal discipline. This is something that centre has been worried about, with many states going overboard with welfare schemes, and it has also talked about centre-state relationship. Now that the federal character of the state is being talked about not just inside the parliament but also in political speeches by parties outside the parliament, it's become an important issue for elections also. This meeting will be important as to how the centre looks at the states, the autonomy of the states, and also the budget will be at the centre of it because it's just been 3 days since the budget was presented. And several states have also had this problem that they have not been mentioned. So this will also be one opportunity by the centre to actually explain the budget in clear terms to centre, to the states. But of course, opposition allies, the India allies, part of the India bloc, many of them are boycotting this meeting, including M.K. Stalin of the DMK, Revant Reddy of the Congress Party, Bhagwant Mann of the Aam Aadmi Party, and several others. We are yet not sure if Hemant Soren of JMM is going to be part of this. That is something that we need to wait and watch. But Mamata Banerjee, of course, has said that she will be taking part in the meeting, but she will be protesting and raising this issue of how Bengal has been deprived of funds.
And moving now to the other big headline, well, the biggest sporting extravaganza, Summer Olympics 2024 in Paris. The event will see over 10,000 athletes who will be competing for glory in over 300 venues. Well, India has also sent over 117 Olympians there. So, of course, that will be the big focus. And Rika Roy is now joining us live from Paris. So, Rika, what's at stake for India? India's journey at the Olympics truly has been fascinating. Remarkable stories, emerging for all these athletes. What's at stake for India, and what does India hope to achieve this time?
Well, Vedant, last time around, India won 7 medals. This time, they are gunning for that magic figure of 10. Of course, the head of Indian Olympic Association, P.T. Usha, has said that the athletes are prepared. 117 of them are taking part in this edition of the Games. 70 men and 47 women. 78 of them are at the opening ceremony. On the night of the opening ceremony, several of them are yet to check into the village. India's first big medal hunt will be from the shooting ranges, and it begins in Chateauroux tomorrow. And India will be seen.
There reporting from Paris. Of course, as Rika is pointing out, it's going to be a fascinating Olympics this time around. In fact, the opening ceremony also saw many unique firsts as far as the 2024 Olympics were concerned. Of course, it's been mired in controversies as well, but spirited atmosphere there, as we saw in Rika's report. But moving now to our special report. As part of the Samarth by Hyundai initiative in partnership with NDTV, we bring to you the stories of people who prove that disabilities do not define what they can do or not do. Dronacharya awardee Gaurav Khanna, who is recognized for his significant contributions to para-badminton in India, is one such story. Take a look.
Badminton was Gaurav's life. Every match, every point, fueled his dreams, but fate had some other plans. 2 surgeries on his left knee, shattered his dreams of becoming a professional badminton player. With unwavering determination, Gaurav returned to his studies. He qualified for the Railway Protection Force and excelled during his rigorous training. Understanding the struggles of the person with disabilities, Gaurav decided to provide professional training in badminton for them. The man who had to leave badminton returned to the court as the head coach of the Indian Deaf Badminton team, producing national champions and Olympians.
There is no disability. They are born different. They are people with unique capability and they are superheroes. और सभी ग्रासरूट लेवल से स्टार्ट हुए हैं और ओलंपिक के लेवल पर और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। मैं समर्थ हूँ और मैं दूसरों को समर्थ बना रहा हूँ।
What a fascinating story there. That's all the time that we have on the show from all of us here. Goodbye.